Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to another turkey pattern test video here. And right off the bat, I apologize. I'm a little bit stuffy and congested, getting over a little bit of a cold, but hey, we're still out here pattern testing for you guys since you all want to see it. But for this video, we're going to be bringing back out a shell that it's been a little bit since we've tested it and seen it on the channel. That being the Browning 410 TSS loads. They're 3-inch, 1100 feet per second, 13/16 ounce of number 9s. And as for the setup we're going to be running them through, we've got the Mossberg 500 410 turkey again, but this time we're going to be running them through that Carlson's heavyweight TSS 385 constriction turkey choke. Now, the first time we tested these Brownings through the stock extra full 380 choke that gun came with, they did okay, I guess you could say, kind of average. They'll kill you a bird, but they're really nothing spectacular, and there's definitely better options out there. So with that being said, this Carlson's choke has showed us good results so far with, I believe, pretty much everything we've put through it. So can this Carlson's help out these Brownings any and get a little bit better results out of them? I don't necessarily have the highest of hopes. I think if I had to take a guess now, we're probably going to see a little bit more of an average pattern yet again. But hey, we don't know unless we test them. So as per usual, the target is set up right over here at 40 yards away from the bench. So let's head back here and run these Browning TSS loads through this Carlson's 385 choke and see if we can get a little bit more promising result out of them. Alright, we're back at the bench, all set up at 40 yards here. So let's run these Browning 13/16 ounce load of 9s through this Carlson's heavyweight TSS 385 choke and see how they do down there on the target. Alright y'all, so here's what we got out of those Brownings through the Carlson's 385 heavyweight choke. And I definitely think this is better than the stock extra full choke was in that gun. There's definitely less flyers, but we still see how this pattern is definitely a little bit more opened up. There are a couple flyers down there at the bottom, but mainly what I'm looking at is these void areas right around his head here. In some areas it's nice and consistently even, but in other areas, as you can see, there's some noticeable voids around that core area of the pattern there. Hopefully you guys can see with the afternoon glare on this target here, but it's not by any means what I would call a bad pattern. It'll absolutely take you a turkey out to 40, but we have definitely seen better out of that gun and that choke. I think this is just a case of the Browning shells being a mass-produced, off-the-shelf load from a big box store company like that. And I think this is about the performance we can expect to see. It's definitely not the worst out there, I can tell you that right now. But if you're going to the store to get some off-the-shelf turkey loads for your 410, just go over and look at the herder shells. They're quite a bit cheaper, and they will outshoot these through pretty much everything I've ever shot them out of, definitely. And from what I've heard, other people's experiences with them too has been more of the same. Good performance for a budget load. These, on the other hand, I think these were high 40s, low $50 a box. And when you can get a herder shell for $35 a box, I would much rather go with the herder stuff personally. But this is definitely not a bad pattern, but at the same time, I don't know if we can get a whole lot better out of these particular shells. And here's something that I don't normally show, but I think I'm going to try to start showing a little bit too. This is our wad that we got out of that shell. And something that I noticed on this one, I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see down in there, but there's still several BBs crammed in the bottom of this wad. That's something that I have not seen out of very many other shells. There you go. Maybe you can see that a little bit better now. But that's just something that's a little bit interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily a wad failure as a whole, or if that's just a characteristic of these Browning shells, or what that's about. But either way, I just thought that was something interesting to take note of there, for those of you guys that are a little bit curious about the wads in some of these shells. Alright y'all, well, what do you think about them? That is about what I expected, to be honest with you. It's definitely not a bad pattern by any means, but I'd say it's about average, I guess. It'll absolutely take you a bird out to 40 yards any day of the week, and I definitely think it performed better than out of the stock choke with that gun. It condensed some of the flyers that we saw just a little bit, but I still think there's better options out there like the herder shells for less money or the same. I mean, the Rogue shells cost 50 bucks sent to my door, and these were right around 50, give or take a couple dollars off the store shelf. So for the same price, you can get a much better shell, in my opinion, out of the Rogue than what these do. That's not to knock them. They definitely seem to be decent shells and noticeably better than some of the other big box off the shelf shells out there, but I still think we saw pretty much average results. There's nothing super spectacular about them. But leave me a comment and let me know what you think about them. Is that about the results that you've seen out of them? Have you tested them? Have you had better or worse results out of them than that? But for those of you who stick around and are subscribed and like the videos and comment and watch all the videos all the time, thank you guys so much. And I've asked it a couple times now, but what do you guys want to see as far as content goes on the channel here coming up soon? We're starting to move out of turkey season and get into the summer. I definitely have some ideas with some rifle stuff and some different shotgun stuff. I've had requests for buckshot as well as different steel shot and more upland game loads, your cheap Walmart stuff for dove hunting or quail hunting or whatever, that I definitely think that would be an interesting thing to test since not really anybody else has done it. But as for today, I apologize again that I'm all stuffed up, but hey, we're out here making videos for you guys because you guys like to watch them. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one.